So while coming up with ideas for my upcoming videos, the idea for this video just dropped right into my inbox, literally. Hi, I'm Rich and welcome to the Rich Tech Guy channel. And in this video, I'm going to go over a phishing email that I received, which I decided to do a video on because this one is quite a bit different than the phishing emails I normally get. This one really stood out as a well put together email, and unlike the other ones where I'm able to easily identify them as a phishing email, this one took me a little bit. It almost had me fooled. Almost. So I'm going to go into this email and how it was put together, where I started to notice the issues with it, that as I was able to dig deeper, everything just unraveled and it became apparent that this was a fake email. So let's get into it. All right, so with the main focus of my channel being about data center topics and data center technologies, why bring up a security topic? Well, quite frankly, because security is ubiquitous. No matter what we do, we have to be security conscious. And even though a topic like this, such as phishing, is not specific to a data center, it is something that we have to be aware of because the actions of the users who receive such emails can affect what goes on in the data center. So the threat landscape for security is essentially everywhere. And when you have your users receiving these emails, then you are going to have to make sure that they don't respond in a way that exposes your organization and exposes your data center. So that's why I decided to do this video, to go over this particular phishing email, which I actually thought was a very well produced phishing email, to the point where even for a little bit I was fooled. I didn't immediately identify this as a phishing email as I usually would. And what was done here and where I spotted the inconsistencies in the email in order to realize that this was in fact a fraudulent message. So let's take a look at the email. All right, so this is the email. And the email here, it pretends to be from a company called AVG. If you're not familiar with AVG, they are an antivirus company that is mainly focused, we pull up their webpage, they're mainly focused on home use. They do offer some more business options, and this is going to come into play later on when we figure out what went on here. But primarily they seem to be focused on home antivirus, home internet protection, and that sort of thing. So this is the email basically coming in saying, I have an invoice for $351.84. They've attached a PDF file to it, and we'll dig into that. But essentially it just goes through and it kind of looks like an invoice. Now what is interesting about this is if you look at where this is from, this is signaling that it's from a QuickBooks at notification.intuit.com. Intuit being a major software company for small businesses and accounting, and so the idea of an invoice being sent from something generated out of Intuit is not going to set off too many red flags for most people. So that was one of the areas where this is looking like something fairly legitimate. Now, as we dig down, it's talking about a professional protection here, 3 years of service. It's even providing a product key as if I'm actually, as if I have actually purchased this software. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is it says that the amount has already been processed successfully on my credit card. Now, it doesn't actually say what. It doesn't really specify a credit card, it just says on your credit card. So typically when you receive an invoice like this, it's going to say this was processed on a credit card ending with, and then give the last four numbers of the credit card. So let's dig into this invoice here, and we're going to have a little check as to what the invoice looks like. All right, so here's the invoice, and what's going on with this invoice here is I have opened this up in a safe environment, and so taking a look at this invoice, this just looks like a PDF invoice. They've even used the logo for AVG, and on its surface, yeah, okay, this is presenting all the same info as the email. In fact, it's almost even word for word. This is kind of one of those flags to look for. But again, successfully on your credit card, not specifying which credit card. The other thing to notice here is there is a phone number. In addition to it's referencing this website, avgorders.com. We're going to dig into that. Now here's where I started to notice, because as I'm going through this, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I don't remember purchasing this antivirus software. I don't remember doing this. So the thing that started tipping me off was, first of all, there's something on the email that we'll go back to and take a look at. But the other thing that kind of tipped me off here is this bill to. My name is nowhere on the bill to. Instead, it's just referencing some customer ID with some weird random number. The other thing is the invoice number itself. Okay, I mean, previously I've been in a job where I processed invoices before I started my technical career. You don't see invoices that are primarily letters. They are mostly numbers. Generally, they might be all numbers. If they have letters in them, there'll only be a few letters. So this is a very weird looking invoice number. And so after taking a look at that and digging in, we're going to go back and take a look at the email, and then we're going to pull up some stuff on the internet that really flag this as a fraudulent operation. Okay, so going back to the email here, here's the other thing that tipped me off about the email and why this wasn't a legitimate email. The to address here on this email, this is not my email address. And as soon as I saw that and I realized, wait a minute here, this is something that, okay, this got sent out to this email address as the email that shows up in the to, but this was sent out in a mass distribution using the BCC or blank carbon copy feature of the email. So combined with some of the things that started showing up on the invoice and the email that really wasn't to me, that's where I started to figure, okay, something's off about this. And this is where I started digging into some of the things going on. So we have this AVG Professional Atom Protection 3 years plan. Okay, right here we've got a grammatical error. 3 years plan instead of 3-year plan. This is also something that commonly shows up on the phishing emails. Now, if we go to AVG's website and we pull it up, first of all, we're going to notice that it's avg.com. Whereas on the email, it's listing this website as avg-orders.com. So, you know what? Let's go take a look on a web browser at avgorders.com. And I get a GoDaddy parked web page. So basically it's saying this domain isn't even registered. GoDaddy has a little parking page on it, and you can go order the domain from them. So right there, that's something that is another flag. Now, as I had said in the email itself, it says I'm doing this AVG professional atom protection. So let's go take a look, and first of all, professional to me instantly would flag this is a business product. All right, so let's take a look at their business offerings. And as we go through the business offerings, I see Antivirus Business Edition and Internet Security Business Edition. I don't see this Atom Professional service. Now, I also go looking through some of these business products. Again, it's not there. So this is something that it's not even referenced on the web page. Again, this is a pretty big clue now. We're dealing with a fraudulent email. And after doing a couple of searches out on the internet, I ended up coming across this website, which talks about this exact phishing scam. OnlineThreatAlerts.com. This is even fairly recent. The date on here is indicating it was July 19th, updated July 27th, the very same day I got the email. And it goes in and it talks about this. Okay, this looks like this was even a different product, Home Ultimate Protection. Still saying 3 years plan, it's a different amount, but essentially it looks like the same thing. So at this point I decided to figure out to put this out there as some information, and so I actually did a little Twitter feed, and we're going to go take a look at just what I published out here. It's really all the same stuff that's in this video, but I also decided after doing it that I would go ahead and do this video too. And if we go and take a look at my own Twitter page here, so I do recommend you follow me on Twitter. And right here I have the whole feed about this. Now, what happened was, after I posted this, in a pretty short amount of time, AVG, they responded and they said, oh yeah, this is definitely fake. This is not from us. We advise do not trust these emails. Always check with us if you receive these kinds of emails in the name of AVG. So the company themselves, they immediately came out and they said, nope, this is not us. The other one that came out, because I mentioned that this came from QuickBooks and Intuit as where the invoice got generated from. Well, they came out and they responded with, yeah, this is not us. And by the way, please report this email to our security people, which I went ahead and did. So these two companies were definitely on it, and I definitely appreciate that. Intuit and their QuickBooks software program, they deal a lot with small businesses, so they are certainly looking out for protecting their small business clients. And AVG being in the cybersecurity space, I would expect them to have some response here and say, yeah, this is not us. But this definitely goes to show that, as I said, this was a pretty well put together phishing email. Usually the ones I get, I flag them right away. They are full of grammatical errors. A lot of phishing emails I get, I just easily spot them. But this one actually threw me off. And this one, I was like, wow, this is a pretty intense phishing email. So always got to keep on the lookout for that. All right, so I hope you found this video to be informative and will help you identify the features or characteristics that pop up in phishing emails that you might receive to help you better defend yourself and your organization against these types of attacks. As I said earlier, my content here is normally data center focused, but if something like this pops up, I'm happy to do a video about it, because everything we do, we have to be security minded, and we have to understand where the threats are coming from and how to protect against them. So I do encourage you to please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around for that data center content. And also, if you're looking to get into networking and get into a tech role, I also would encourage you to hit the subscribe button. I'm looking at coming up with something here in the next few months that would be of huge interest to anybody involved with that, and I will be making an announcement as I get closer to producing that. So I'm going to put some security resource links down below. They are going to be affiliate links, so you can do with those what you will. But until then, stay alert, keep studying, keep improving, and I will see you in the next video.